there's another interesting story that happened this week. Keeping it political. A guy by the name of Rich Lowry. He's a conservative, right? Okay. Conservative columnist, reporter for the National Review. He was on the Megyn Kelly Show. Okay. Right? This past week. And she was interviewing him. And she was asking about the whole the immigration issues going on, the Haitian immigrants and stuff like that. And Rich Lowry came out saying during the course of the interview, he was responding to a question that she asked. And I watched this clip a few times. He was speaking and he said, Haitian niggers, migrants. Corrected himself very quickly when he was talking about the immigration issues going on. And literally the word nigger came out of his mouth. He said Haitian nigger.
Wow.
That's what I said, bro. Wow. Now, it's so crazy because I know this man, right? I know from what I thought, and this is going to lead up to a question I'm going to ask you. Mm-hmm. I think Rich Lowry is a very nice guy. I've booked him many, many times on my news programs, spoke with him about sports, about different topics, women, just life in general, along with politics, right? Very smart guy. Republican, conservative, very smart guy, all around cool dude, right? So when I watched this clip with him on Megyn Kelly, and I heard the word nigger come out of his mouth, it just hurt. Like, it's just, my soul just dropped, right? Because when you think that you know somebody, right. Like I said, I have plenty of friends, from all political parties, Republicans, Democrats, independents, different religions, it doesn't matter to me. I'm always like into the person. And from my observation of him and the time that I known him and speak with him all the time, nothing but a great dude. So when I heard this come out of his mouth, it just crushed my heart. He says that it was a mispronunciation, that he meant to say migrants. So that's what he tried to quickly correct, but it was clear that it was Haitian niggers and not Haitian migrants. So it hurt me. It made me say to myself, oh my God, all this time he was really racist. And, he thought that way about black people and things like that. And part of me just doesn't want to believe it, which made me replay the clip about 10 times already, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, saying maybe he didn't say that. So that was me trying really hard because I really like him. Right. And however hard I tried, it didn't work. Every time I replayed it again, I heard the word nigger clearly. Right? So I was speaking to some friends about it, and I was saying, well, he's racist. And then I've heard some feedback saying, well, is he racist? Is he not a nice guy? Because he said the word nigger? And again, he's refuting this. He's saying he did not say it, just for the record. He's saying it was a mispronunciation. I did not say it. Again, I clearly heard it, and I think a lot of people did. But I guess my question to you is, if someone says that word, does it mean that they are racist and that they are not a nice person? Or can you use the N-word and not be racist and still be a nice person? I'm very curious about your feedback and your thoughts on this whole issue.
Well, this may not be the popular response.
No, I just want your response.
But I think that you can use the word and not be racist. Okay. Right. So I think people in today's times would like to apply different monikers to folks when they use this kind of language. But I don't think it's as simple as that, right? To say, for me, and not just for me, I think the meaning and the idea of racist is that there is an entire way of being, right? So what I mean by that is you talked about how you have this relationship with him. You've had great conversations with him. There's great connection with him. You've booked him many times. You and your colleagues who are also Black had these great conversations. That to me says a lot about him, way more than the fact that he slipped up. I'm using air quotes for those who are listening to us and not viewing us, and said the word nigger. I think, and I can only imagine how you feel, Jay. And I know you, and I know you well. And when you say, "Hey, that hit you in the heart," I know you mean that sincerely. And so I would say, with that should not define the relationship. I'm not saying that you should be happy with it or accept it. He screwed up. He shouldn't have did that. And I think what makes it worse is the fact that he's trying to Jedi mind trick people into believing that he didn't say it when it's been memorialized because he said it on film or video, and we can all rewind it as you did. We can hear it. I think he'd be better off by coming out and saying it. But probably the thought behind saying it or admitting that he said it brings a whole host of other questions, right? Because
he's been canceled a few times from different speeches already. He's been canceled.
Because you can't make a mistake and say that. So I remember when I was a little kid. Now, this may not be for kids of today, but when I was a kid, you didn't use swear words. You didn't curse. You just didn't. And you damn sure didn't do that around your parents. So I was a little kid, right? And remember I was telling my mom about my day in school, and I said shit. And word came out, I was like, yeah, my papa, and so on, and I said shit. And as soon as I said it, I knew I'd screwed up. And I looked up at her, and I was shocked. And I said, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And she said something to me. She said, you didn't make a mistake because it slipped. It slipped because you've been saying that. You don't make a mistake and say something that you have no connection, never been saying. And you know what? Mom was right, because I'd be all over that playground. Shit this, shit that.
Right.
Get that. Man, that smells like shit. Shit, you shit and every. It was shit all over the place, right?
Yeah, it's a stinky ass place.
Right. Yeah. So when I was telling the story, it just flowed out. And so that sounds with Lowry. Yeah. He's so, it feels like he was so used to saying niggas, Haitian niggas, and then it came out. And so that to me, I think may be his reluctance in terms of apologizing, because those of us with half a brain would say, if you don't say it, you don't make a mistake and say it. Right? So yeah, I don't, but with all of that said, I don't believe he's a racist. I think he may be insensitive. He may be an idiot. And the fact that he's using that language tells me, like I said, that he uses it. But context matters. And for the love of God, I'm not suggesting that it's okay. But I will say that groups of people will use language about themselves,
their own race,
and about others, man. Yeah. And so shame on him for letting us in his circle, right? By using that kind of language. I wish he would own it, apologize for it, do the walk of shame, talk about sign up for some sensitivity counseling, right? And then move on with his life. The fact that he doesn't own it, he's keeping the story alive. But no, I do not believe he's a racist.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like, it makes me want to look up the definition of a racist, right? Because it's so intricate and different scenarios, different. I mean, I guess there's one definition, but it just makes you think about it. And the reason it made me think about that is just because of the close relationship that we have. And I think it goes back to kind of like what I was saying with Janet. I'm just so surprised because Rich Lowry has done plenty of cable news shows, like over the years. He saved me plenty of times coming on last minute. He's a very intellectual man, very brilliant, smart, all of that. So, and he's done TV tons of TV. And it's never happened before. I've never heard that happen before. So it was just so surprising to me that even if he was, like you were alluding to, saying that he probably uses that word all the time, it never happened before. It never slipped. So it just made me say, why all of a sudden today did it slip? Like he was off his game today? Or is he getting worse? Or I don't know.
Is that really what's troubling you? Whether or not he was on or off his game? Or is it the original point as to whether or not he's...
Well, that's what, yes. Right. The original point, what I said, that's what it hurt my soul that, you know. But me thinking on a business level, like I was talking about with Janet, like I can't believe on a business level, just because you've been doing this for so many years and you've curtailed it before, what was the difference with Megyn Kelly? Like, how did it slip?
Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know, but maybe Megyn Kelly maybe that's fam, right? Maybe that's peeps, right? And you just forget, especially to your point, he spent a lot of time on camera, so it's no big deal to him. He's just sitting down chopping.
He's very comfortable,
with the friend.
It's like you and I talking, right?
So it does remind you of one of those memes, you know, when you see that meme, and I know I'm a butcher it, but if someone tells you, right, if you come to me telling me that someone said something about me, it also makes me want to say, well, why do they feel comfortable enough to tell that to you? Right. So Megyn may have some questions to answer too. Like, you know.
Well, that's very interesting because when he dropped the N-word, she sat there stone faced. Yeah. She didn't say a word about it.
Right. She may have been awkward.
She was very awkward.
Or she may have been like, yeah. How about them Haitian?
Yeah. Right. But she was smart enough not to say that. She says no. She's smart enough. Don't say that. And I know he didn't say it on purpose. Right. I know he didn't. I know it was a slip. But like you were saying, more importantly, he's been saying this, or at the very least, it's always in his head. Right. It just probably never slipped out. But I disagree with you on the one point where you're saying that he should just own it. He can't, bro. He can't do it. He's got to stick with his guns. When you make a stance on something, and especially in his field, you just have to stick with it, right? OJ never said he committed that crime.
Well, because he could go to jail for it.
Right.
Though.
Well, in this world, he may not go to jail. Rich may not go to jail, but it's actually already happened. He's already getting canceled.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Right, but it doesn't matter. If he comes out and he's truthful and he admits to it and apologizes, it's going to be even worse.
I think if you admit, and I disagree. I think if you apologize and you do the whole sensitivity training.
Did he apologize to the Cassie tape?
Again, you OJ, did he? Damn,
well, I'm just giving you examples that apologizing.
He called some Haitian niggas, right? And now you're comparing him to Diddy.
Apologizing.
Pump the brakes.
I'm gonna press on the gas because apologizing don't work.
No,
it does not work.
An apology
I gave you examples where apologizing doesn't work.
An apology by itself does not work. But the apology along with the redemption, hey, sensitivity training, this is what I'm doing. And so people will, right, love a good comeback story and will give him an opportunity to do that. And we've seen that millions of times over, right? So I don't think it's that way. I think the fact that you want to dodge it and try to act like it didn't happen, like I said before, that more than ever keeps this thing, keeps this conversation going. Because we'll continue to talk about it. Let me ask you this: you've worked with him, you've booked him previously. You're producing another show. You're gonna book him on there again after this?
I cannot, because of the organization I'm working with. Right. I'm an editorial producer. I'm in charge of getting the guests on the air and getting in the best guests.
You're really putting it out there. Okay.
Yes. I'm responsible. I could put you on TV too. But I'm responsible for bringing people on in the experts in their respective fields, bringing them to TV. So if I was looking in the past for a great conservative voice, then I'd call up Rich. Hey, listen, can you do this TV just because he was just so smart? Nice dude. Like I said, nice guy. Right. Played very nice with people, and it was just very cool. But where I'm now, it's all in the news right now, Rich. They're not going to book him. I can't even bring them on TV right now where I am.
Right.
I can't bring them on TV because they're like, nah, we're staying away from that, right? Which is how he hurts himself on a business level to slip up. And even if he comes out today and apologizes, I still can't book him.
Right.
It's not going to help him to apologize. It's better for him to stick to his guns and continue to say that he didn't say it. And then maybe over time, people will believe you.
I think the video, if it was your word against his word, like that kind of one of those things, then I would kind of lean in with you, because no one would actually have proof of it, right? It would just be someone saying it. Yeah. So you're right. In that case, I would say stick to your guns. There's no proof of it, right? So the only way they would know is if you admit it. Once you admit it, when there's no proof of it, then you own that. It's stuck to you. But we all hear it.
Yeah.
We all hear it. So it's not like you cannot say that you didn't say it and it makes sense when we can absolutely all hear it.
Yeah, because how does niggers sound like migrants?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Hey, should have never said it. Totally screwed up, right? Sensitivity training. This is what I'm doing. Hell, book me on the show so I can talk about it, so I can get screamed at, right? Like, that's the part where use that to leverage that to something else. But to go over there pulling a Shaggy wasn't me. Like, come on, man, miss me with that bullshit.
I was about to say that's get him on the J&K show. Have him explain himself. Like, what was going on? You know?
I heard he might be available.
He might be. You mean we won't cancel him?
No. That's you know what, dog? It's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
And because there's, as you said, you this is someone that you have a fond relationship, fond memories of, and I would love to. For not just his sake, but for your sake and the sake of y'all's relationship, give him an opportunity to say, hey, do you see? And I'm not. And let me make. Some people will get this statement, and some people won't. But some people have a way of separating the N-word from certain groups and certain people.
Black people,
right?
Black people separate the N-word.
I don't mean people other than black, right? Because I've heard some white folks use that term, right? Not with the A, with the ER, in terms of referring to a group of people.
Because they have black friends.
In terms of a group of people, and check them on it, and they're like, no. I said that to him because ... whatever the reason is. None of it makes sense, and it's all stupid.
Right.
And I've often said that word is not a sniper rifle. It's a shotgun, right? It spreads out and it adheres to all of us. So is it possible that he found that term applicable to Haitian immigrants or Haitians, and because he's not Haitian and you haven't had your dealings with him, or he views you as someone that works with the network and in a professional manner and not a migrant? Like, I don't know, but it would be really great to have a conversation about him, considering that he didn't say it. So what would it be, Jay? I'm not saying you said it, but if you did say it, who would the niggers be?
Exactly. I guess it would be that. But have you ever been in a situation, Kay, where you have a friend or close colleague where you truthfully see it one way, like you believe the story to be one way, and you know in your heart that they're lying? How do you sit down and speak with that person, and you know what you heard, it's clear, and they're continuing the story of saying, I didn't? How do you sit down and have a educated adult conversation with someone like that? Now, shit, you might have that conversation with me all the time.
I was just sitting here. I was like, yo, dude is describing the J&K show. I was waiting for you to finish. I'm like, yo, he's describing the J&K show.
No.
Like, have I ever? I'm doing it now.
You don't have me on tape, bro. You don't have me on tape. I'm just saying, how do you Okay, well then, if that's the case, how do you do that?
Have I ever? I'm doing it now.
Well, how do you? Well, explain to me how you do that. And I know you're exaggerating, by the way, with me. I know that. I know that. I think yes.
Jay, listen. You just do, man. Like you've got to. But if it's someone, if the relationships and it's people close to you, close enough to you, and you care enough and give a damn enough, talk to people. Bring that. Air it out. Talk about it. Bring it up. Like we.
And they stick to their guns, and you still just don't believe it. Then
you don't believe it.
Where do you go from there?
Right. Well, then you have to then make a decision. How much of that is worth a relationship? Right.
Okay.
It's you have to weigh it against everything else, and if it really flies in the face of your ideologies and your relationship, the expectations that you and this other person have. Yeah, then you got a decision to make. Sometimes things are just like, well, that's how she is, or that's how he is. Okay. And you just kind of roll with it. So I think someone's brand, their personal brand, has a lot to do with it. The makeup of the relationship that you have with that individual has a lot to do with it. All of those things are applicable, man.
Okay. Well, I listen. I hear you, and it's a tough situation, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. But you can always tell if someone actually does something and they're willing to continue to talk about it. And he's in the media, so maybe he would. I don't know, but it is tough if I'm sitting down talking to a friend and what the words that are coming out of their mouth I just think is straight BS, and I have to sit there because you know me, I'm 100. I keep it 100. I'm real, and I will call you on your BS. I'd be like, bro, I don't believe you, man. And I hate to be in that situation where I'm talking to a friend. I have friends that I see on social media that I don't even want to talk to about politics because I like them as a person, but I see them bashing Kamala, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even, like I don't want to have that conversation because I feel it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, and that's where you and I
differ. You see what I'm saying?
And that's where you and I differ.
Yeah.
I don't the bashing of Harris, the bashing of Trump. Yeah. That stuff just doesn't bother.
You don't really care about that.
It doesn't bother me.
I just don't see that the purpose that it serves. That's all.
Yeah, I don't. And their purpose, I mean, that's between them and their priest, man. Yeah. Like I don't even care about that. Like it's no different than any other topic that they talk about that I'm not interested in hearing.
You know what it is? I hate haters.
Haters?
I hate haters.
I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't view it as hating. You know what I mean? Maybe it is. Maybe there's something there that I'm missing. But it just doesn't influence how I feel about. Listen, there's a lot there not to like about Trump. There's a lot there not to like about Harris. And so I think people are certainly justified in feeling how they feel about either person, about either candidate. The notion or the fact that I would cancel out someone because they feel that way about a political candidate, especially when it's a pre-existing relationship that I've had with them, I know what their values and all those things are. Yeah, it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I think you have things that are situations where people hate each other or I think it's when you hate someone for their policies versus their like personal attacks. I just think it's different.
Right.
So that's the thing that's a little bit different to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, indeed.